let's go back, so Stefan, to the beginning. You
Hmm.
grew up in Sweden in a very special moment for motorsport in Sweden. Also, we had Ronnie Peterson or Peterson. How do you say that?
In Sweden, we say Peterson.
Peterson.
Peterson, Ronnie
Okay.
Peterson,
Uh,
Gunnar Nielsen, and of course lots of others. There was the Swedish Grand Prix in Understorp.
yeah,
Um, how did it all begin for you? I remember that you were part of the Hilo Sweden
yeah.
from
Well, Sweden
Tomakaider also. How did it begin?
nature.
How did you had your first contact with motorsport, and how did you discover that you were a talent driver?
Well, my father was racing. I grew up really with racing because my dad was racing, sort of club racing. So I used to start going to races when I was 3, 4 years old with him. And back then, you weren't allowed to race go-karts until you were 12. But I started driving when I was 8. Just with a group of the town I grew up. It was a very small town, but we had a lot of really good karting drivers at the time. So we used to go on weekdays because in summertime in Sweden it's daylight until midnight. So everybody used to go after work, like at 6 in the evening. We used to go to the go-kart track, or the guys who was. I mean, I was obviously too young to work, but the other guys. So it was like 30, 40 guys racing go-karts almost every night during the summertime. So I grew up with that, very young, and race against older guys, who was obviously much faster and much bigger than me, but so it started quite early that way, karting, and then the usual progression, Formula Ford, Formula 3, and then I moved to England and do the Formula F3 and F2 there, and then from there on.
Yes, you were the Swedish go kart champion in 1973. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
When did you notice that you had kind of a special talent for that? That you had the skills and you could perhaps make a living of it. Was it from the start, or you had to learn more? How was
I
your
mean, I
learning curve?
think it's a progression. I mean, I think obviously I had the passion for it, but it was quite late decision really for me because I was quite good at ice hockey. So, like Sweden, everybody plays ice hockey. It's like the national sport there. It's like football in Brazil. Uh, so I played ice hockey almost pro level until I was 19. Then I made a decision to move to England and do Formula 3, But until then, I was sort of doing both all the time, and which was okay because hockey is in the winter and racing is in the summer. So, um, but then, my real passion was really with cars, So that's when I made that decision to go racing.
And did you have the opportunity to meet Ronnie Peterson or Gunnar Nielsen back then?
Yeah, yeah. I met Gunnar. Obviously, I met Gunnar, and Gunnar was trying to help me a little bit, as did Ronnie as well. But in fact, the last year of Ronnie's life, I actually rented his garage. He turned his garage, where he lived in Maidenhead, outside of London, into a little one-bedroom apartment. So I was renting that from Ronnie at the time. So we didn't get that close because he was always traveling, and then I was away. But of course, being in the same property, we got, I got to meet him every now and then. He was such a big hero to me at the time. It was like almost afraid to meet him, because he was a big hero.